this part is not really related to the fetch API, but uh, it might go hand in hand because one of the things that you'll end up using the fetch API for are these single page applications. So you're making a call to another server, you're getting data, and then maybe if the user clicks on a link, you end up getting some more data. So maybe there are details about a particular product, sales, customers who have bought that product, and that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is take a look at how we could use that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these links. They're not links. I'm going to create a link. And I'm going to put an href here surrounding this product name. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this href, and I'm going to use the pound symbol here. And I'm going to put in product.id. So if I refresh this page, these will show up as links, and if I click on one of the links, I'll see different IDs for the products. And the reason why this is handy is that, first of all, if someone clicks on a link, what's happening is I'm changing the hash, and I could end up getting some additional data. The other thing is that these become bookmarkable, meaning that if I refresh this, the hash ends up staying here, and I could go and say, hey, look, do I see a hash value here? And I would end up going and getting whatever data based upon what the user ended up clicking on. Let's just see how we could end up using that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in add to the window object an event listener. And this event that occurs is called the hashchange event. And when this occurs, I'm going to just log the window.location.hash. And I'm going to refresh this. And I'm not going to see anything when the page loads, but when I click on a link, I will see the different IDs. And again, I'm not going to do it here because there's not really an endpoint at this point to do it. But I just want to see what that ID is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say ID equals window.location.hash. And since we have the pound symbol, I'm just going to slice off the first character. And I'm just going to console log the ID. So I'm just going to sort of pretend here that what I'm going to end up doing is loading this data. So I'm just going to put some div in here. I'm going to give it an ID of detail. Now again, if there was an endpoint, I could end up hitting it, but just for the moment, I'm going to say document query selector, and I'll say load details for product, and I'll put in the ID. And that's actually incorrect, right? The query selector is going to be detail, and the property that I'm going to end up setting is the inner HTML, and I'll use my backticks, and I'll get rid of those parentheses. So let's give this a try. So if I click on Buzz, all right, this is going to be an indication that I would end up, loading this data. Of course, if I end up refreshing my page, I don't end up seeing that message, and I would like to see it. So what I could end up doing here is that when the page ends up loading, I could go and ask the question, and if I console log ID outside of here, I'll see that ID. So I could just ask, hey, look, if in fact I do see an ID, then, and eventually we could end up drawing this out. But the idea here is that I'd be able to go and send someone a link to this page, and if they ended up opening it up, again, assuming I made this call for the details of that product, they would be able to see it. And so the hash change operator can come in handy, especially with the fetch API, if based upon hash changes, you're going to end up going and getting some additional data.